So I was having a conversation with an older woman before, and as I was like talking, she kind of had said something. I don't know if I ever brought this up, but she had said something about like how I kind of like go back and think of like what I should have done in a certain situation, or what I feel like I should have done, or kind of like beating myself up on like not knowing better and just feeling like I should have known better in that situation or in that moment or at that point in time. And one thing that she said that it made me feel better, and I try to remind myself of it too, is she said, and I'm trying to like really remember word for word, but to paraphrase, she said, "You did what you had the knowledge to do at the time." And I think that's really important to remember when you're dealing with really with anything, when you're constantly thinking back on something that you wish you did differently, especially if you really didn't, know any better at that time. It's no point in beating yourself up on something that you just weren't really experienced for that situation. Like you didn't have the knowledge to know like, okay, I should have done this instead of doing this or whatever the case may be. So I try to remind myself that a lot, that at this point in time I did what I could with the knowledge that I had. Now have I damn, I can't talk. Now let me get into the situation again, or maybe into something familiar or similar, then maybe I'll be able to, you know, do things differently now that I have that prior knowledge to do so. So yeah, and I think it's better to just make sure you're being nice to yourself. The self talk, you want to flip it on its head and make it more positive. It's easy to make it really negative all the time, like the self talk be real negative. But the more positive you make it, you constantly tell your brain that this is the way we're thinking now. We're not thinking in such a you know in such a low hanging fruit. But that can't be that can't be the right terminology I'm looking for. But or half empty, glass half empty. You don't want to look at it with such a glass half empty way. You don't want to speak to yourself like that. You want to think in a more glass half full mindset. And the more I tell myself to think in a more glass half full way, the more upbeat I feel like I feel. The more positive I think I feel, that I know I feel. Like I just feel better about myself. And then as soon as those negative self talks happen, or that thought of, you should have did this right, or you should have did that, or you should have said this, or you should have done it this way or that way. I just tell myself, and I remind myself, and I say it like in her voice, like the lady that told me, and I just say, you did what you could, or you did what you could do with the knowledge that you had at the time. Because had you known differently, or had you had different knowledge at that time, you probably would have did something different. So it's just a good thing to keep reminding myself of. And I think if you do the same thing, I feel like it can help you too. So yeah, that's all I got for today. Outside, on break. Sadly, I'm working tomorrow on Memorial Day, but got to get the extra hours. So I'll chop it up later. Peace. Be breezy.